What do you think the chances are of a guy like you and a girl like me?
I'd say more like 1 out of a million.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the possibilities as of right now of a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford based on the actions of what happened this past weekend in Las Vegas. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. And can you please just hit the notification button? If you like the content that I create, what this will allow me to do, every time I put something out there, you'll be first to be notified. Thank you. Guys, by now, depending on how long you've been following me, you know that I'm a boxing nerd regarding the research that I'll put into fighters, potential fights, past fights, etc. My whole goal is to educate everybody who comes to me on what's really happening. Now, what happened in Las Vegas this weekend with Canelo beating Berlanga every round, never really was in trouble, was awesome to see. You see a guy who's 34 years old take out a young lion like he always does. You also see a guy who hasn't finished an opponent since 2021 when he knocked out Caleb Plant, going on 3 years. But that's not Canelo's style. People will bag on him about his power. He doesn't knock guys out lately, but he does knock his opponents down. We should also address, before I continue, Berlanga admitted he came into the fight after weigh-ins on fight night 195 pounds. They weighed in at 168. So that's close to 30 pounds. And Canelo did not look 190 pounds. So we have to take that into consideration. Look how big Munguia is. Look how big Berlanga is. And that is an issue regarding a smaller fighter like Canelo in that 168 weight class not being able to finish guys. And kudos to Berlanga. I gave him a few rounds. He was tough as nails. But let's talk about, what should I segue? Here's what we're going to do. One of my favorite movies as a kid in the 90s was Dumb and Dumber. It was a raunchy comedy. Jim Carrey, you guys have probably seen it. And there's a specific scene when Jim Carrey is showing interest to the girl. And she keeps denying him. She's way out of his league. And he goes up to her and he says, "What are the chances of a guy like you and a girl like me?" She goes something along the lines of, "Your chances with me are 1 in a million," she says. And Jim Carrey goes, he pauses and he goes, "So you're saying there's a chance?"
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
And now why that's relevant with this topic today is because after Canelo beat Berlanga, he does his media and press interviews with everybody who wants to hear him talk. And this is where I come full circle and tell you that I've done my research. Now, in the past, when Canelo was asked about a potential Bud Crawford fight, Turki Al-Sheikh, he said no. He said, why would he do it? He's a smaller fighter. No. He was asked this time around, and all he said was no comment. Now, to me, that's just like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. She didn't say no. She said 1 in a million. Canelo didn't say no. He said no comment. So I think there's an inkling of a chance. I think the door's open here. And when you look at the guys side by side, and stay tuned this week, I'm going to do a current breakdown of both guys. Their resumes are going to be updated. I'm going to talk about their pros and cons, their strengths. We're going to take a little deeper dive into who they've been fighting, but that's later in the week. For now, we're just going to get everyone caught up on Canelo's comments. And also, after the Caleb Plant fight, now I couldn't find any footage of Bud Crawford sticking around for Canelo Berlanga. A lot of that had to do with Riyadh season being across the street at the Sphere and Turki Al-Sheikh being at UFC Noche. So there was footage that came out of Crawford going over to the Sphere, and a lot of people were misrepresenting and misreporting in the boxing space saying that Crawford didn't come watch boxing. Yes, he did, fools. I showed you footage of him in Caleb Plant's locker room, him taking photos with the fighters. So he was there. He just headed over to the Sphere to catch the main event. I think he got there in time for the co-main. And they did this video in the crowd, and this is what I'm going to play for you. It's Crawford calling out Canelo again with Al-Sheikh. And they did this from the Sphere. They said they're waiting, they're ready.
Yo, Turk, tell the fans what we doing next.
We want financials.
Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's
him.
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Just put me in the game, coach. Just put me in the game.
And guys, before I let you go, something I do want to say about Canelo that I really admire is his professionalism when he's in fight camp. Look back at all of his fights, look at it when he's in fight camp, and look at how he acts during fight week of whatever opponent he's getting ready for. Every time the media asks him about any fighter or fight that has nothing to do with his current fight, he doesn't talk about it. And that is a sign of a fighter being locked in, and there's no wonder why he's one of the greatest to ever do it. That focus and dedication and laser beam sort of attention to detail is why Canelo's great. And I like that about him. When they asked about Crawford, when they asked about what's next, all fight week, all training camp, he said he just pushed that away and turned that down. But as soon as that fight ended and he was asked, he didn't say no. He said no comment.
Tonight, Terrence Crawford was Turkey Al-Sheikh at the other event across town, put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terrence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.